Hi, you must be Otto. Come on in. Hi Otto. So what brings you here today?
I recently started having troubles using my hands.
Okay. When have these symptoms started?
A few months ago.
I first started having
Don't worry,
difficulty
I will
speaking.
take care of myself. And
Then I found it difficult to write neatly. I felt weak. I got sudden cramps. I couldn't swallow properly. I ran out of breath really easily. I choked very often. Sometimes I've McFallen and I can't get up.
Otto's condition is worsening by the day. Soon, Otto will no longer be able to function.
Okay. So what we can do is we can run a few tests and evaluate your situation. So first we'll do a coordination test. Here I have an object, and I want you to touch the tip of the object and touch the tip of your nose. Okay, can you do that for me? Okay, so we'll schedule a CT scan of your brain, and I'll see if it has anything to do with your nervous system. Okay? And your results will be out in about a week. So for now, have a guardian stay by your side.
thank you very much.
Okay, so I'll see you next time.
Okay.
Like, you put me in such an uncomfortable situation. Like, you know I'm not happy. You know I'm trying to see if...
Whoops.
1 week later.
Hello, Otto. Welcome back. So I have your results here.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but you have ALS.
Wait, what is ALS?
Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as ALS or motor neuron disease, is a disease that gradually paralyzes people. Our brain is connected to our muscles through millions of specialized nerve cells called motor neurons, which serves as our body's internal wiring and enable us to move our bodies as we choose. In ALS, motor neurons gradually break down and die. This means that the brain can no longer communicate with the muscles of the body. As a result, the muscles become weak, and eventually someone living with ALS will lose the ability to walk, talk, eat, swallow, and eventually breathe. ALS is not contagious. However, there's no cure for ALS and few treatment options for the majority of people living with the disease. Approximately 80% of people with ALS die within 2 to 5 years of being diagnosed. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Otto.
But what's a neuron?
The nervous system uses the nerve impulse to convey information. Neurons are specialized cells of the nervous system that transmit signals throughout the body. The nervous system allows you to feel, smell, hear,
like you should, my neck, my back, lick my
taste, and see. Neurons have 3 parts.
Neurons, like other cells, have a cell body called the soma. The nucleus of the neuron is found in the soma. Neurons need to produce a lot of proteins, and most neuronal proteins are synthesized in the soma as well. Various processes extend from the cell body. These include many short, branching processes known as dendrites. Dendrites are the many extensions from the cell body that receive signals from other neurons and send them to the cell body. A separate process that is typically longer than the dendrites are known as axons. Axons conduct nerve impulses away from the cell body toward other neurons or target structures.
Although the nervous system is extremely complex, the principles of its operations are simple. Neurons are the longest living cells in the body, and they are irreplaceable. Neurons will live as long as you do.
Having huge appetites mean they have high metabolic rate, and they need a steady abundant supply of glucose and oxygen, and about 25% of the calories you take every day are consumed by brain activity. There are three classes of neurons: sensory neurons, interneurons, and motor neurons.
Sensory neurons take messages from a sense organ to the central nervous system. Sensory neurons have long dendrites and short axons. Motor neurons take messages away from the central nervous system to a muscle fiber or glands. They have short dendrites and long axons. Interneurons are always found completely within the central nervous system and convey messages between parts of the system.
The nervous system uses the nerve impulse to convey information. The nature of the nerve impulse is studied by using excised axons and a voltmeter. Nerve impulse are electrical signals transmitted along an axon. It consists of a wave of electrical depolarization that reverses the potential difference across nerve cell membranes. The electrical potential difference between 2 points inside and outside of an axon is called voltage. Axon is a nerve fiber, long thread part of a nerve cell, along which impulses are conducted away from the neuron cell body. It also has a membranous tube filled with axoplasm.
The transmission of a nerve impulse along a neuron from one end to the other occurs as a result of electrical changes across the membrane of the neuron. The membrane of an unstimulated neuron is polarized. That is, there is a difference in electrical charge between the outside and inside of the membrane. Membrane polarization.
When the dendrite is not transmitting a signal, it is said to be in its resting state. In this state, the inside of the cell has a net negative charge, and the outside of the cell has a net positive charge. The membrane is said to be polarized because negative and positive charge exist on opposite sides.
Sodium-potassium pumps maintain polarized state of membrane. It pumps 3 positive charged sodium ions out of the cell for 2 positive charged potassium ions into the cell. Each cycle of pump increases polarization a little more. Membrane depolarization. When a neuron receives a signal, sodium channels in the membrane are opened and allow a localized influx of positive sodium ions into the cell, which causes depolarization, or a reduction of the difference in charge across the membrane.
The localized depolarization also triggers nearby sodium channels to open up and depolarize the membrane nearby, which then causes more sodium channels to open up further away and depolarize the membrane there. And so a chain reaction is started, similar to people standing up in a stadium to do the continuous wave, and much like the people in the stands who sit back down. The membrane repolarizes by closing the sodium channels and firing up the sodium-potassium pumps to re-establish the difference in charge across the membrane, and the neuron is ready to pass along another signal.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Yep. Okay, so I'll schedule you for another appointment next week to check further on your condition.
Okay.
So for now, you may leave.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, it's nice to see you, Otto. So what brings you here today?
You know how I feel. Why would you say that? Like, you put me in such an uncomfortable situation. Like, you know I'm not happy. You know I'm trying.
Amyotrophic lateral Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as
Yes, Mom, don't worry. I will take care of myself. And